Hello everybody, it is I, your favorite VTuber Android Arrowhead, and I'm back with more Ace Attorney 4, Apollo Justice, Case 4, whatever you want to call it. And, I was gonna say, I don't really remember much from what happened last time I played it, beyond just the general setup of the situation. And now I remember why. My brain must have blocked out this guy. This person. This... Alright, fine. Alright, audio works. Let's get this over with. I don't even remember what voice I did for this guy, but I got a feeling I know what it was. Spark Brushel.
So, Mr. Brushel, you're a journalist?
Yeah, me. Look, let me state one thing for the record here.
Yes?
I'm the interviewer, you understand, yeah? I'm the one asking the questions here. Why does he have a toothbrush? Well, anyway. I'm the one asking the questions here, end quote.
Okay.
For instance, you think a movie director watches movies?
I would hope so, yeah. Well, I think he probably does.
Exactly! I knew you'd understand!
Huh?
You know, the best part is I don't even need to act for this. I'm just genuinely confused at this guy. Oh boy, alright. Night of the crime, let's hear it.
So the night of the murder, you were at Drew's studio?
Who, me? Look, let me state one thing for the record.
Yes?
I may look calm and collected, but I'm busy. Real busy, always on the road, end quote. Journalist always buys one-way tickets, never looks back, end quote.
I can understand that philosophy, but...
You want to know the thing about one-way tickets? Once you use them, they're gone. This guy's the murderer. I'm just gonna call it now just because I want it to be true. This guy's the murderer. Oh, because you have to give them to the guy at the airport. Wait, didn't you bring up... Did I hallucinate him saying trains? No, actually, no, I did. In fairness, he did not mention one-way tickets on trains. I thought I meant... Never mind. Don't know why I thought that. But anyway,
True enough. But don't they give normal tickets away, too?
exactly. See? It's the same thing. Sure.
What is?
The interview.
So, you went to do a story on Drew Misham? And he'd never had a story done about him before.
That's right. Look, let me state one thing for the record here. Oh my god. How many things are on the record at this point?
What?
I'm sure you're going to want to know about my source. I made it the fuck up. What tipped me off to Drew? Why did the interview in the first place?
Well, yes.
Apollo, feel free to jump in at any time here. You've said nothing the whole time, Apollo. God damn it. Well, it looks like it's like... Oh, I've got it. Say there's this burger joint with fabulous ketchup. You think the burger guy's going to tell me where he got it?
At the supermarket, maybe?
Exactly, see? That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, alright, sure. I think I may have actually understood that one. What? I didn't get that at all! What are you talking about? Well, there's nothing I can talk about, really.
Then why did you answer the questions?
Walls have eyes, ears, eyes, especially glass walls with speakers, end quote. I'm just not even gonna comment anymore, just alright. I don't even know what he's talking about. I know he means like the screen and stuff. Is that supposed to be a clever title? Right. Guess we'll leave then. Oh, but since you're here, might as well tell you a tidbit of news I saw, just for the heck of it.
Sure, tell us. Just for the heck of it.
I remember it like it was yesterday. I'd seen a movie on a trip and wandered into this burger place with amazing ketchup. God. Alright, sure. Go on. When an article in a tabloid caught my eye. Famous oil painting stolen from art dealer's gallery, end quote. I believe it was.
An oil painting?
An oil painting? Happens every day, right? But I thought I'd seen that painting somewhere before. A painting of a giant peach floating down a...
Oh, that one! Right, that happened last time, yeah.
A painting of a giant peach floating down a river.
Someone stole an oil painting of a giant peach?
Journalists can smell scoop better than burgers. End quote.
It's a court record. Yeah, we've got those paintings right here. This one is impressionist. This one is a pufferfish. This one... These two are the things he's talking about. Large plum? That's a peach. It's clearly a peach. What do you mean plum? I didn't notice that before. Right, this is the one that had the poison on the coffee cup. This was the... Right, the letterbox one also had the poison. This one had the letters in it that said something about a ransom that we had to scan with a special machine. Okay, it's all coming back to me. I got it. I got it. Okay, so what about this painting?
Oh, right. Let me go on the record here.
Yes?
I know what you're going to say. Well, she'll take this. Write brilliant column. End quote.
Okay, alright. Doesn't know what I'm talking about. Got it.
I don't think so. Look, buddy, I write brilliant columns about one thing. And it's food.
You're here to investigate a murder case, dude.
Try to understand.
What could he possibly be writing? He didn't listen to a word I said. What about this one?
I see.
This fucking guy. Alright, can't show him that because I don't even know what that is. This is a different thing entirely. Right, there's also a magic show going on. Nope, nothing here. What if I'm doing all this now and eventually he becomes like my favorite character? The odds are low. The odds are certainly low, but maybe. You know what, I'm just gonna leave this guy. Clearly, nothing's gonna happen here. Question is where to go, though. Okay, something's happening. October 7th, Drew Studio. Well, how'd it go? Find anything out? Actually, there was one thing I wanted to check with you. What's with that scary face you're making? What's with the I know something but I'm not telling face you got going, Emma? So in other words, the thing about the painting. This painting came from behind that dresser. Ah, yes. So? It was stolen, no? I was hoping you wouldn't figure that out. Do you think you could tell us a bit about this? I suppose. It's what you think. Drew Misham was a forger. They were part of the family and spy family? A forger? And now we've got another thing to talk about. Forger? I barely know her. So what exactly is a forger? Well, basically, it's someone who makes forgeries. Fakes, in other words. Fakes? Copies of an original. Trucy, did you really need her to define what fakes means in this context? I feel like I'm a little catty today. I should dial it back. I should be normal, happy Arrowhead. But really, did you need her to define what fakes meant? Exact copies, so precise you can't tell them apart. Well, why not just photocopy them? The big problem with forgeries is that people try to sell them as the real article. It's a crime, of course. So Drew Misham was a criminal? I'm afraid so. He received money to create elaborate forgeries. To supplement his work in illustration, I guess. I see. Actually, that's why I brought this here in the first place. What do you mean? When you're trying to determine if a painting is a forgery, the rough sketch underneath can be a valuable clue. So the rough sketch is like a practice for the real thing! But don't normal paintings also tend to have a rough sketch sometimes? I mean, I'm more of a digital artist than a physical one, but I thought that was kind of standard. Like doing a magic trick in front of a mirror before you go on stage. But not in the case of a forgery. Not necessarily, anyway. Hey, Lolbitch, welcome to the stream. How you doing? You know what the finished product is going to look like after all? Oh yeah, I guess you would. Alright, OBS, work with me for a minute there. Alright, OBS is working. Nice. Oh yeah, I guess you would. That's why I brought this. Okay, a bit annoyed, but alright. I'm sorry to hear that, but hey, you know, you can now you can at least be annoyed with what I do instead of what someone else is doing. I'm going to use it to see what's under the paint of the finished pieces. I get it now. Not that I really needed to go to such lengths, seeing as how one of the paintings was only half finished anyway. Still, it'd be neat to see Mr. Misham's rough sketches. Kind of like what he was drawing when he thought no one was looking. True, that would be interesting. And maybe valuable for our case. You should try buttering her up, Apollo. Flattery will get you everywhere, they say. Maybe I should ask Emma to help us out. Also, I don't get annoyed at your bad decisions. They're generally some of the funny shit I've seen. Oh, good, okay. Your nitpicking pronunciations make me mad in a funny way. Okay, good. Yeah. Good to hear. Good to hear. You're a very enjoyable person. Thank you. So are you. Yeah. I kind of wanted to see the rough sketch under this painting. And I was wondering if your tool there might do the trick. Oh, fine. Just this time, though. That wasn't much flattery. You just told her what you wanted to do. Let's check it out. Oh, just this once. Okay, alright, this one. Yeah, thanks. Oh, yeah. Just good vibes in this channel. What the hell's happening in this painting? Oh, here we go. I gotta Pac-Man all these, like, giblets. Now, she said just this once. Does that mean I can't do the other paintings? Or am I gonna have to do those as well? Alright, so we got... Okay, so just as expected, it's basically just what the picture was. I don't know what I thought was gonna happen. Or it's... the Gaviners? It's someone with a guitar. But it's a guy burning on top of a platform. What the hell is that? That first drawing, I think it's Impressionist or something. What the heck? Wow, he really blows! The finished painting isn't anything like the rough. Devices like mine didn't exist until recently. He probably thought he could draw any sort of thing he wanted for the rough. But doesn't that kind of defeat the purpose of drawing the thing? What do you mean? Well, in the past, you could only analyze the composition of a rough sketch. Composition? In other words, the traces of charcoal between paint and canvas. So you could tell if there had been a rough sketch, but not what it looked like. Ah, I think I follow you. So in essence, it wouldn't matter what was underneath the finished painting. Some pros would actually paint out a rough sketch entirely, then do a completely new painting on top of that. So Mr. Misham was drawing whatever he wanted before painting over them? Possibly. Is there a problem with that? Not particularly, but something about the sketch itself is kind of... odd. You're awfully silent all of a sudden, Apollo. I have no idea what's going on, other than that this one girl's dressed as a magician. Oh yeah, so she's a magician. And then, she's also my assistant-in-law.
because, of course she is. And this lady is a detective who's also a scientist, and she worked with, the other lawyer, Phoenix, back when his assistant, who was a spirit medium who could talk to ghosts, was absent. Unfortunately, there are no ghosts in this one, so we have no way of getting out of this. Also, welcome to the stream, Process Black. How you doing? Well, sure. You like this detection stuff, don't you? And she has an English accent, because I couldn't come up with anything else. Alright. Alright. So basically, this guy, to describe the plot to this point, even for those who, either just got here or whatever, this guy got poisoned to death, and now I need to find out why his paintings are all so weird, because apparently they're all forgeries, and also, one of them is a pufferfish. And this one appears to be some kind of fan, I think? Oh, this is a murder that already happened. This was the first case. This one too. What's wrong, Apollo? You look so serious all of a sudden. You think I could just look at the last of these? Fine by me. Knock yourself out. He accidentally poisoned himself with lead paint. Good idea, but then why would he have a ransom note for $100,000 for a painting? And also, that would actually be pretty good if he poisoned himself with lead paint. That would be really funny if this turned out to accidentally not even be a murder. Alright. A little deeper. Let me guess. This one is going to be... What's the second case? This one's going to be... ramen stand, because that was what the second case was. Holy shit, it is the ramen stand. This guy can predict the future with murder and painting. He's like the guy from Heroes, but no heroin. Okay, let's print this one out. What the heck is all this? I hesitate to ask why you're getting so excited. You sure your device isn't leaking some kind of strange radiation? Trucy, look at these 3 sketches. Do you notice anything? They're the murders that happened. Maybe this guy planned all of them. Ah! There. Now you're both white as sheets. We're all white. What's going on? These sketches are of 3 cases I worked on. What? The murder in the poker room at the Borscht Bowl Club. By the way, there was a club where only borscht was served. That's interesting. The dead man pulling the noodle stand. By the way, there were also panties involved in that case, which is, if you ever hear me say hippopotamus, that's what that means. If she's so mad, why do you need an x-ray machine? Well, you see, next painting. And then the events that transpired during the Gaviners concert, where his guitar was set on fire and there was a magic person. What could it mean? How could he have drawn those things? And why? That's what I want to know. Wait, is Drew Mishim your father? What? It's like the Himiko magicians, if that's any clue for Mystic Prowess. Basically, she can do stage magic and she can pull things out of underwear, but that's about it, I think. Give me a break. Does that even seem remotely possible to you? I'd never even heard of any Drew Misham before. I hadn't even seen a picture of him. But there were my cases drawn in his canvas. Every single one of them. It couldn't have been a coincidence. Just who was this Drew Misham? And what did he have to do with me? Just drop that and not expect a reaction. I don't even need to save. We already, yeah. And then next chapter, yeah. Well, I'm going to trial, I guess. with all, like, I guess this technically counts as a bunch of evidence, but, like, is it? Alright, so, to clarify, first murder, second murder, third murder. This painting has the poison in it, atroquinine, and this is a mailbox that they saw through. This is the ransom note. Apparently she just had a fucking Karakuri monster in her hat as well. Oh, yeah. She has a whole, like, wooden, like, stand thing that she uses to pretend she's being kidnapped sometimes. Also, Phoenix got hit by a car and he was completely fine. Except for a twisted ankle. Anyway, yeah. There's a cup with a mustache on it, a business card, a weird envelope, and, a ticket. Also, the magician's father is missing and presumed dead, and that's why they can perform magic from his tricks now. And I realize none of this sounds like it makes sense. Don't worry. It doesn't. October 8th, 9:48 a.m. District Court, Defendant Lobby number 6. I mean, it does make sense, but, you know. This is my client. I forgot what voice I gave her, so I'll be giving her a different voice. This is the fucking tanky-ass man. Yeah. Fell off of a burning bridge into a speeding river and came out with a cold. Nothing else. He was completely fine otherwise. Alright. Good morning.
So, you're Vera, right? I'm Trucy. Trucy Wright. That's right with a W, but not right, right?
His Tony's the definition of it makes sense if you have a very distinct lack of sanity. Yeah, exactly. Same thing with Danganronpa. Oh, that's why I don't remember what voice I gave her. She doesn't talk. There you go. So I'm not crazy. Alright.
We're on your side. You can tell us anything. Please?
You know what, random voice accent thing, Italian.
Good morning.
Maybe Swedish, depending on how it comes out. I'm not entirely sure if I can do an Italian accent.
She speaks! Not bad, not bad.
That gonna very clearly make sense as long as you're obscenely horny for your siblings. Oh, yeah, of course, you got me there. It's funny how I know exactly what you're talking about, but that's still just it's such a wild thing to say. Related to Magical Girl? Okay, so technically she's an adopted daughter of Phoenix, and also the main character we're playing as right now is Apollo. You see, actually, well, let me bring up the court record, right? So Phoenix got disbarred, and now he's a hobo who kinda can play piano, but mostly plays poker. We are his technically protege, Apollo Justice, who is basically named as someone who would become a lawyer. And, this is his adopted daughter, who is a magician. And, this is her uncle, who is also a magician. And this is a reporter who I don't like. And this is the guy that died. Wow, I wonder if he could have painted on better eyes than the ones he had. Oh well.
I think you'd do better with a little smile, you know? You're so pretty. You need to sell yourself, you know? Trucy, let's take it easy for starters. Thank you for the taking of my case.
Okay, well, that's a start, I guess. By the way, the reporter's absolutely fucking creep. Yeah, it's not great. Oh yeah, and the weird hand thing that they keep trying to give me. There she goes with the nail polish again.
That's great, really. It's so cultured. Want to try? Ooh, really?
Girls. Huh. Women. Alright, Leon. Oh, it's emoticons display your emotions. It is pretty nice, yeah. The victim, Drew Misham, was a forger. And a stolen painting was found in his studio. And for the background, I'm gonna let you cook on this. Locked in. Yeah, exactly. Watch me get the first prompt wrong.
A life of crime, really. And maybe one that led to his death. October 8th, 10 a.m., District Court, Courtroom number 3. Also, there's a decent chance this might all be a simulation for a trial that has juries, because that's a thing in this world now. Well, we will now, begin the, trial of Vera Misha. What's wrong with you, dude? Is the judge okay? His voice is all raspy and he's looking around all nervous like. Don't worry, he's just 75. Trust me, there's no such thing as locked in reference to this game. The only thing I can be locked into is locked into getting the answer wrong, usually. Really, no other court case beforehand had juries despite the others being in the courtroom. Yeah, it's pretty much all just what the judge decides, and usually the judge's decision is based on whether or not you can prove someone else did it. It's amazing. The repercussions of today's trial will most likely be felt for a long time, and may indeed alter our legal system forever. Today is a test of the justice system. Also, this guy is German, I think. Not technically, but he kinda is. Or, he went there, and it says German words. And the first step towards a new order in our courts. The judge is like teachers at a school. You don't need evidence, just words. Exactly, you just say things. And you say it first, and you say it better. That's the key. Daddy's secret mission. The jurist will function like a jury. It is hoped that inclusion will help the courts to better reflect the people's will. Why aren't there any jurists in the courtroom? 3 closed-circuit cameras watch this courtroom at all times. The jurists have access to everything that transpires. Note that if you curse within the first 15 seconds of the trial will be demonetized. Javier is more East European, so German works, although he's not participating from Germany. That is true, he's not, from Germany, he's just kinda... he just says German words, like Fräulein, and, actually, it's mostly that. Or, El Forehead. Juris, Judge Well and Judge Cool. He's also a rock star. Which is why you'll see him occasionally do, an air guitar thing. Now see here, Prosecutor Gavin. I was going to say that. Ah, my apologies, Herr Judge. Yeah, see, look, he's German speak. He sprechens the Deutsch. Juris, today, judge today's trial coolly, if you would be so kind. Remember, we learned that he only speaks German and English because he thinks they sound sick as shit, which, to be fair, that's as good of a reason as any. That's a perfectly fine reason to just speak another language. Watashi wa arrowhead des. That's a little Japanese for you out there. Anyway, the jurists are unbound by the letter of the law. They don't affect the trial with evidence, but by their feelings. I thought of a joke I probably shouldn't say, so I'm just not going to say it. Alright, and we're probably going to find out just what effect they're going to have. Very well, Prosecutor Gavin. The details of the case, if you would. The victim is the painter Drew Misham. He was killed in his own studio. I'm going to write a cringe BL fanfic of you as revenge for such a bad joke. Don't worry, yeah, I mean, go for it. No, if it's just a BL fanfic, that's one thing, but if it's a cringe BL fanfic, then by all means, go for it. That sounds awesome. His coffee was poisoned. By whom, you ask? By none other than the defendant, Vera Misham. There wasn't any poison in the coffee. Achtung. I don't know what Achtung means, but I'm sure he does. Achtung. Someone has been doing their homework. Indeed, poison was not present in the coffee, but on the mug itself. Don't say that without hinting at it. Say the damn joke. I'm not gonna say it. I shouldn't say it. The mug. Ah, residue was found on the rim, I see. The autopsy report describes the manner of our victim's death. The court accepts this as evidence. Okay, so we have... Will the autopsy report be updated? I know it hasn't happened outside of that one time, but the idea of updating an autopsy report is still just so fucking funny to me. Hey, we cut the body open again and we found out some other stuff. According to this report, The victim's death was caused by atroquinine poisoning. Achtung means attention or watch out as a warning. Oh, okay, I get it. Oh, that's funny. Okay, good to know. So I choose to believe he's saying respect me as opposed to watch out in a sarcastic way. A chemical compound that does not occur naturally. Lethal dosage is a mere 0.002 milligrams. A touch of atroquinine in the body is a touch of the Reaper's size. So why is there so much of it? Very well, Prosecutor Gavin, you may present your witness. Morticians are just human butchers. I mean, yeah, that's a way to put it. I wouldn't put it like that, but you can put it that way. I don't want to imagine them eating the bodies. Oh, never go for lunch in a police station. I have for you today a simple man for a simple case. It's the reporter, isn't it? A man who witnessed the murder in its entirety. That journalist, no doubt. Don't be intimidated. Prosecutor's literally named Piano in German. But he plays the guitar. Why does the guy named after Piano play the guitar? Is he stupid? Did he forget what he is? The witness will state his name and occupation. Ah, right. Well, for starters, my name is Spark Brushel. My job is a lone observer of the world. In other words, a freelance journalist, right? Ahem. If you don't mind, I'd like to state something here for the record. Yes, Mr. Brushel? I dislike conclusions, specifically the aspect of jumping to conclusions. Preconceptions make Park Sandbox of endless desert waste. End quote. But you are a journalist. You said so yourself yesterday. Well, that's true, yes. But you must understand, I stand before you today as a man with a dream. To be fair, they don't eat the body, they just usually put the carcass in the freezer for later harvesting. Okay, you say harvesting, I realize you probably mean like organ transplants, but what else would the harvest be? Do they grow tomatoes? Is it like Rick and Morty where they like get the spaghetti from the corpse? Which, by the way, that was a weird episode of Rick and Morty. Now, the man gives me the vibes that he shouldn't be near any playgrounds. I'm gonna be real. I don't like to judge by appearances, but yeah, I got the same vibes. This guy's a little weird. I'm offering you my testimony in exchange for exclusive rights to the story. Scoop turns Mr. Brushel into that Mr. Brushel. End quote. Let's hear your testimony then, shall we? A simple case, eh, Gavin? To me, the jury is still out. Apollo, no one could hear you say that. Shut up. The journalist's story. I visited the studio around 9 o'clock that night to do the interview. The first outsider to enter the atelier. Journalistic history made, end quote. His daughter brought us coffee right after we started. And you know what happened next? Star falls, end quote. No one else entered the room besides her the whole time. That does sound like a simple case. Unless you were the one who poisoned him. You know? Very good point. Why are we not suspecting this guy? Oh, what are you saying, Judge? Need I remind you the cameras are rolling today? I felt the need to be a bit dramatic. But again, how are we sure he didn't do it? You didn't do it, did you? Man, but you do a thing like that? Come on! It's like, news making news, make news, end quote. Oh, even contemporary witch hunt, end quote. I know, wild accusations rock courtroom, end quote. That man gives me the vibes that he should... Oh wait, I read that. You ever seen those gore videos of them packaging human body parts like a meat factory after the person dies? No, actually, I haven't. I did see a video... I guess I can't really judge that much, because, like... You ever been on 50/50, the Reddit site?
I have seen some things on 50/50. I think I've seen people die on video. But it could have been a picture of a kitten, so it's not like I was looking for it. Just gonna put that one out there. Anyway, that just woke a memory. I didn't even think. I realized I must have repressed that one. Anyway. Rook indeed. Even the BGM stopped. Gives me PSD to the Gardevoir comment. Slavic folk music stops. Prosecutor Gavin sure looks like he's having fun. I'm so happy for him. Very well, Mr. Justice. Your cross-examination, please. All right. Around 9 o'clock that night due to the interview, and he died at 9 o'clock, potentially. At the end of the atelier. Okay, sure. Mona brought us coffee right after we started. Does this contradict anything? Can I dust the thing for fingerprints? Granted, the victim drank out of this, so it'd probably just be the victim. Never mind. Anyway. Alright. Star Falls, end quote. Yeah. Specifically, what do you mean? How long did it take him to die? What's this about a star falling? Star falls, huh? It's like an old telegram. Send money, over. Zowie, you don't know? That's like a journalism code word. An important personage passes away. A star falls. Get it? But there's no gravity in space, is there? I wouldn't think stars could fall, really. Does this matter? Apollo really just hit her with the who cares. Oh boy, this is good stuff, good stuff. How about Star breaks? Ah, Max Punch. I know. Star dies. Max imagination. Of course you could go with Drew dies, straight to the point. I like it. I think we need to hear about something a little more substantial. Moment of death, sure. Moment of death. About when Mr. Misham passed away. Oh boy, what a scene that was! He puts his coffee mug down with a crash, right? Yes, and then? And the cold finger of death touches his spine. Life's flame sputters and fails. So cold was that touch that he could do naught but tremble uncontrollably. Actually, life's flame is a little tired. Life's river froze over. Yes, that's a go! I think he's starting his article already. Could you describe that a little more simply? Well, as you can imagine, I was pretty surprised. He hit the floor, as they say. Artist seizure is final performance. End quote. Atroquinine paralyzes the central nervous system. The body arches back like a bow, the limbs tremble, the throat burns. That's quite enough of that. Some of us want to be able to sleep tonight. Oh yeah? Well, I want details. Lots of juicy details. You were there. For that, you can listen to our last year's hit single, Atroquinine My Love by The Gaviners, available at all major music outlets. This is like if Freddie Mercury was the prosecutor here. I mean, his fat ass teeth. Yeah, he's got really big teeth. Like a shark. But like, not. Just to be clear, the stream isn't, like, stopped, right? I'm seeing some weird connection stuff. Okay. Oh, anyway. The point here is that the victim died of atroquinine poisoning. Well, Mr. Justice, how did you find the testimony? Stick drift, goddammit. Alright, very important. Well, it's an account of the moment of the victim's death. I'd say it's very important. Please add it to the testimony. Very well. The court requests the witness add this account to his testimony. That was definitely death by poison. Actually, wait, was that important? Because he was poisoned, but slow acting. Slow acting, how so? Traces of atroquinine.
Okay, so yeah, all this is stuff we knew. Never mind. Alright, in that case, keep pressing. You say it was definitely death by poison. How can you be so sure? Hey, look, I'm a journalist. I've seen a lot of things. And I've had more than my share of experiences with so-called poisonings. Oh, right, because he's a food journalist, so we even know about food poisoning. Okay, I got it. Yeah. Man eats fishy fish, goes bye-bye, end quote. There was a Simpsons episode on it. Food poisoning doesn't count. Should I get him to talk about something else? How about your coffee? So you drank the coffee that Vera served you? Yep. You too? Of course. When someone serves you coffee, you drink it. That's what my old boss always used to say. Never to get what he meant by it, though. But you're still alive, which is to say, you didn't die. Of course not. No point falling before you're a star. End quote. It's not exactly what I was getting at. What were you getting at then? You know the poison was on the rim, not in the coffee. Oh, yes. There were 2 cups on the tray she brought. And one of the cups had Drew's signature painted on the side. No chance the guest would take that one by mistake, I guess. Well, Mr. Justice, was that testimony important? No. Russia drank the coffee too. Doesn't look like this is going to lead to much. Alright, well, please continue with the testimony. Okay. Okay. Definitely poison. Let's try to get him to do the other thing. Alright. The Stars coffee. Water. You say Mr. Misham had the coffee too, but did you actually see him drink the coffee? Of course. He who sees it wins, but he who says it wins bigger. End quote. I live in a man sees dog eat dog and writes about it world. I don't know why that got me, but that's pretty good. Man sees dog eat dog and writes about it. Yet. I guess I can't say I saw him drink it, really. He had one so-called sip, if that. Man puts lips to mug, drinks, end quote. That poison is quite virulent, I hear. My stomach did a so-called somersault, since I'd gulped down that coffee without so much as a second glance at it. Wait, maybe something's there, some kind of so-called trick. Anyone want to venture a guess, for the record? Does this guy have a pause button? Well, Mr. Justice, did you find that testimony valuable? Sure. The victim drank his coffee, then immediately fell over? Oh, yes, you can go to the press for that one. Your Honor, this is a vital piece of information. This man is the definition of uncertainty. He seems very certain, which is part of the problem, that I'm pretty sure he's not. Please add it to the testimony. Very well, the witness will add this to his testimony. Vital, right. Next moment, but here's the thing. Slow acting poison. It is slow acting. Objection! You ever watched the movie Click? Apollo needs a remote for that movie. Yeah, they'd be able to just rewind everything. I guess you can't rewind, but just like fast forward through stupid stuff. Yeah. I get it. You know what I have a problem with? A particular property of the poison used, atroquinine. Oh, Prosecutor Gavin was also quite clear about the poison. A lethal dosage of 0.002 milligrams paralyzes the central nervous system. If you drank that, even you, Mr. Justice, would be reduced to a quivering pile. Why are you using me as an example? Unfortunately, we weren't told everything. You can fast forward, pause, and rewind, I'm pretty sure. I thought the whole thing was that you... Oh, I guess you could rewind to see, like, certain things, but not if you weren't there. Okay. There was a vital omission in Prosecutor Gavin's information. I think Click was a pretty good movie. I liked Click. An omission? Atroquinine is as virulent as he says, but death doesn't come upon ingestion. Not immediately. That's because atroquinine is slow acting.
Slow acting? What? According to one forensic scientist... Actually, how well do you know the different powers from Life is Strange? The only one I only played the first episode, so I only know about the one that lets you, like, rewind past a certain point. And it makes the screen go all, like, film burny. Like the effect when, like, a reel of film is burning. You know the one. It's one of the most virulent poisons, but it is absorbed in the body astonishingly slowly. It takes at least 15 minutes from the time of ingestion for adverse effects to show. If we suppose that the moment Mr. Misham slipped the coffee was when he sealed his fate, then he would still have had time left to enjoy his last cup of joe. I guess I also know about the ones that let you, like, see emotions, like, from True Colors, but, outside of that, I don't know anything else. Outside of that and the time rewind. Order! Order! What's the meaning of this? If what the defense says is correct, why, that contradicts the entire testimony we've just heard. Well, Mr. Brushel, anything to say on the record? Slow acting. S-L-O-W-A-C-T. It was virulent, alright. Even then, it had already begun digging its claws into the journalist. He's working on his scoop. It's Brushel, yeah? Herr Brushel, let's take a trip back down memory lane. Huh? Did the victim really die the instant he took a sip? Think it over. This is vital. You know what I think? I think that was a not-so-subliminal suggestion. End quote. Correct. I admit it does cause a problem if he died when you say he died. I would be forced to say auf Wiedersehen to my simple case. And you would be forced to say farewell to your article. Life is Strange, the full series that's following Will is time rewind, backtalk, empathy, emotional aura reading, okay, yeah, portals to opposite timelines, and telekinesis. Oh, okay. Alright. That makes sense. At least with what I know from what that, yeah. And you would be forced to say farewell to your article. Oh, come again? You can't write a story based on conjecture, can you? And as the case drags on, other reporters will pick up the scent. And you'll be forced to kiss your exclusive scoop goodbye. Scoop. Look, wait, just wait a second. Just 1 second. We're waiting. Out with it. I think I just recalled a so-called important detail. A revival of recollection, end quote. A story survival, end quote. Attorney utterly confused, end quote. Actually, I did notice something when I visited the studio. I'd heard of poison that takes its sweet time, see? But not what I've been saying for the last few minutes, apparently. Mr. Brushel, are you saying you noticed something that explains what happened? You bet I am. Life is Strange 2 is that weird series that I'm not even sure where it takes place in the timeline compared to Max and Chloe, where the telekinesis comes in. Okay, yeah. I've heard of Life is Strange 2. I don't think I've heard really people talk about Life is Strange 2 that much. I know people talk about the first one and True Colors quite a bit. Double Exposure I've heard isn't as popular, and then 2 I don't think I've heard much about. The antidote for a poisonous contradiction, end quote, you might say. Or, I still have no idea what you're talking about, end quote, I might say. I figured it out, but only after an in-depth interview. See, thanks to my journalism skills, I know who poisoned that coffee. Oh my god, that stance. He's so lanky. Not that I'm not kind of skinny, but like, you know, like he looks like, I don't know, it reminds me of like the Wendigo from Until Dawn, almost. Order! 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 As far as I can tell, the witness is standing by his testimony. That Mr. Misham died the instant after he drank. Of course I'm standing by my testimony, and my dream of exclusive rights to this story. Ack. I suppose it was too much to hope for.
What was? Of course he wouldn't choose a simple case. Not him. Him? Phoenix Wright. Who else? Feel like Slenderman if he was a... Yeah. I'm not gonna call him a perv, because he hasn't done anything very perverted yet, but he does feel weird, like as a person. Phoenix Wright. Who else? Achtung, Herr Bruchel. Report for us if you would. What is it that you noticed? This court is a critical trial of the justice system. I'm afraid no room for doubt is permissible. You will testify to the court about what you noticed. What Bruchel noticed. When I arrived at the studio, Mr. Misham was at his desk. He seemed to be writing a letter, but he quickly sealed the envelope. I thought nothing of it at the time, of course. Now that I think about it, what if he was writing a suicide note? But then, why would he... Whatever. Time rewind. I was talking about can malfunction and stop time until you reach a very stressful point in time for yourself. Oh, okay, interesting. I need to actually play Life is Strange. I know I would like it, I just need to get around to doing it. Because I've played the first chapter, but that was like, you know, they have the first chapter free, and then the other ones you have to pay for and all that. It's one of those things. Yeah, I need to get to that at some point. Yes! He had this look on his face! Man's face inscrutable as a quadratic equation. End quote. Suicide? Poor Mr. Misham. But that means Vera's innocent. Would someone commit suicide in the middle of an interview? Maybe if they hate the interview. Maybe if this guy's the one giving it. Oh. Very well, you may begin your cross-examination. Want to play in chronological order, or do you want to play in release order? I might as well go in release order, unless it's just better to play chronologically. I generally tend to go for release order for things that are, like, out of chronological order, just because, like... Usually when it's in release order, it makes some kind of sense, even if you don't, like, immediately know what's going on. Like with the Monogatari series, or Kara no Kyokai. Okay, at his desk. Seemed to be writing a letter. Quickly sealed the envelope. Okay, that tracks what we know. Nothing of it at the time. What if he was writing a suicide note? It wasn't that. Stick drift, stop. Do I play this now? I mean, I could press him on it first. A suicide note? Well, yeah, don't quote me or anything. I'm just saying, it's a possibility, you know. So you didn't actually check the letter? Of course not, it was sealed. Contents of can unknown until can is opened, end quote. You can always check the label. You think Mr. Misham was writing a suicide note? If he was, that would solve this case in a jiffy. It kind of makes me wonder about that letter. Okay, so yeah, I think I got the right choice there. If you care about story structure and understanding the characters more deeply, then I recommend going in chronological order, but if you prefer a streamlined experience, then release order works fine. Alright, well, we'll see as I get closer to it. Objection! Fuck! But, look, I realize he's not literally saying it was a suicide note, but, like... Alright. We can play this. It proves that it's not a suicide note. Alright, fine. So he put the letter away when he saw you. Early reporter gets worm, end quote. That's my secret. What does this have to do with the poison? Oh, right, he said it's suicide note, right. I'm not sure I follow. The artist who died makes me think of Krillin's eyes in Dragon Ball. Oh yeah, because they're just like dots as opposed to everyone else's like eyes. Yeah. It's the night of the interview. I arrive 15 minutes ahead of schedule. The handle turns, the door opens, and I barge in. Are you sure that's okay to do? I mean, isn't that unlawful entry, really? Mr. Misham sure seemed to think so. You should have seen him.
He crammed his letter in that yellow envelope as fast as he could. I know a secret when I spot one, and that was one. It does seem significant. Okay, so this would have told me that the letter I have probably isn't the letter he's talking about. Well, Mr. Justice, I wonder. It does have the ring of something important. The defense finds this testimony vital, Your Honor. Very well, please add it to the testimony then. Hey, why not? My account comes free of charge. There we go. As it just so happens, there was a single letter in a desk drawer at the crime scene. In a red envelope. You are colorblind. What the hell was that? Prosecutor Gavin. Yes? Was a yellow envelope found at the scene of the crime? Unfortunately, no. But therefore, it's easy to mistake the color of an envelope. If you're colorblind, yeah, I guess. But not this envelope. You see, it was postmarked already. 7 years ago. Well, Mr. Brushel, I can explain that. Drew, right? He wanted to get that letter in an envelope, pronto. Get it out of sight of my beady eyes, right? So he grabbed the nearest envelope and crammed away. And what about the whole red and yellow envelope contradiction, chump? Well, Mr. Justice, have you anything to say to the witness's claim? At night, the victim put a letter he'd been writing in a red envelope. Impossible. That's impossible. Ah, I like your expression. So full of confidence. It's simple, really. As it just so happens, the defense team investigated the contents of this envelope. With, the assistance of a forensic scientist. But note that this letter is addressed to Drew Misham. Oh? Why would he address a letter himself? Let alone send a suicide note to himself. Order! 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 Mr. Brushel, can you explain this to the court? Oh my, how could I have forgotten? I suppose this happens to the best of us. Reporter gets old, forgets lots. End quote. I'm still waiting for an explanation, Mr. Brushel. Oh, that's the thing, see? After he put his letter in that envelope, Mr. Misham sat there searching his desk drawer for something. His desk drawer? I could have sworn this track was in Final Fantasy. Huh. Yep, okay. Yes, a stamp. A so-called postage stamp, end quote. A stamp? Whatever for? Well, to mail his letter, what else? And then, why, yes, I think I saw him put it in his letter box. Yes, it was a yellow envelope, and he put it in that box. Well, apparently this yellow letter has nothing to do with the case. Oh, how I wish it did! Wait, can I examine the mailbox just to see? Nope. Just think if it were a suicide note. What a story! Star writes suicide note in front of reporter. Falls. End quote. And mailed it to himself. End quote. As I was saying, that has nothing to do with this case, but it probably might. That said, yes, Your Honor? It makes me wonder about the contents of that red envelope. Deposit $100,000 in the account, confirm transfer. Sign papers in the closed envelope, stamp within 3 days. They don't remind you to speak this to no one. $100,000 is quite a good deal of money. So this was from 7 years ago, yeah? Which is also, I think, the time that Phoenix lost his law license. So, hey, that's probably related to that, potentially. So, am I finished? Here, I mean. Am I finished here? I was thinking of, you know, going home to start writing. I hate to say what should be pretty obvious to anyone, but when you catch the scent of a story, you make that, rather unique face. Ah, come on! Attorney has active imagination, little else, end quote. Even I noticed something, and my eyes aren't what they used to be. You know, I'm starting to understand what all this perceiving stuff is about. If you perceive it, you can achieve it. Or something. Judge his active imagination, end quote. Please continue with your testimony. Tell us about the scent of a story. Hey, I'm the one asking questions here. Usually. He's brushing his eyes. He's brushing his glasses' eyes. Alright. The scent of a story. Actually, it took a bit of work to get a thumbs up on the interview. Reporter leverages story, gets his interview, end quote. The story concerned a character case from 7 years ago. The reading sleep is catching up with me. I will power through for a bit. That red envelope probably had something to do with it. Say what you will, but Drew's talent was without compare. So you threatened to go to the press with this story. That's how you got your interview? Blackmail? Well, yes. I mean, no. I wasn't exactly black. I mean, I'm not. Something wrong, Mr. Brushel? Look. This is my story. My tidbit. Journalist's info is livelihood. End quote. I see. Well, you have me chattering away in here. What's going on there? What if some Wally Wordsworth or Sally Scooper gets wind of my scoop? They could be going to press while I'm going to waste. And why did you come here? Why couldn't you just make the article not about food, but about this? The court feels your pain, Mr. Brushel. Mr. Justice, let's pick up the pace. A certain case 7 years ago. Wait, 7 years ago? Publisher story gets his interview, end quote. Since I can't present people, this provides an interesting problem. Certain case 7 years ago? Tell us, what case? Let me say one more thing, Mr. Attorney, and you can quote me on this. I can't talk about that case. If you can't, then you're probably gonna go to jail. What do you mean? Why not? It's about journalistic pride and staunchness and credibility and connections. Journalist revival, Journalist revival rewards, Journalist reveals sources only over his dead body, end quote.
I misread that multiple times. Dang, alright. So what'll it be? You gonna strangle me? Dead men don't tell tales, Mr. Attorney? He sounds pretty determined to not talk. Our chances of breaking his will aren't looking good. Say what you will, but Drew's talent was without compare. On the one hand, we have your story, and on the other hand, this letter. What makes you think the two are related? Oh, I was just saying it's possible. Call it reporter's intuition, end quote. Hey, I say a lot of things. You gotta go in to pick all of them apart? Be my guest. All of them? No, just the incredibly suspicious ones. I see. Anything else to add about Mr. Misham? Okay. Just how amazing was Mr. Misham's talent? Huh? Oh, wee boy, I mean, hey, he's a star, man, a star. The flow of his brush is like a great undulating river across the canvas. Artist paint lights up studio and artist paint lights up studio and like sun. End quote. This guy's full of wacky gestures. But that one just now was wackier than usual. He looks kind of nervous to me, Apollo. Definitely. I'm sensing something different than before here. Maybe it's time to bring out you-know-what. That testimony left a bad taste in my mouth. It all makes sense. Nothing jumps out as ridiculous. Except for the part that we just said. Wonder what this story he's talking about is. Must have been good to get an interview with the famous recluse like that. Something powerful enough to drag Drew Misham out of hiding. I wonder. Maybe it has something to do with Mr. Misham's art. Alright, wake up, come on. Trying to see what the thing is. I don't think. Hold on. I pressed the wrong button. And a star. Okay, yeah, I already read this one. Alright, now I'm awake. Pressing the wrong button is forcing me awake. Alright. Okay. Let's see. Give me a tired while looking at the Bugs Bunny being drawn as a gauge wink. Yeah, I don't know. Sometimes it just takes me a minute to, like, when I get tired, it takes me a little bit, and then I'm like back up. This is that back up. Now I'm good. Now I'm good. All right. Let's see. All right. There's no escaping it. I can perceive you. Here's what we're gonna do. What does he do? What's his tell? Gotta be something with his face. Already tried to perceive that, so let's try this one. Renville probably had something to do with it. No, Is that... Hold on. Maybe it has something to do with him, like, touching his head with the toothbrush. And then I don't think this is necessarily a lie, because everyone talks about how good he was, but, like... He's also doing that here, so I think it might actually be this one, and I just missed whatever the clue it was. Well, it costs nothing to perceive, so I can just theoretically keep doing this till I get it right. Surely he must have something, or they wouldn't have told me to use it. This man's teeth are very long, like pillars of wood destruction. Yeah, he's like a beaver. Okay, maybe it isn't this one, and I'm just imagining things. Alright, past this one. Let's see, 7 years ago. Not like a contradiction to say, because I do have that letter. It talks about the thing from like 7 years prior, but... Nothing's perceived, no shit, I don't think you have to pay in order to see. No, I mean like in the game, there's no health loss if you get a perceive wrong. Let's just keep pressing him until something happens. On the other hand, we have your story, and on the other this oh, okay, I think we already read this one. Okay. Exactly what sort of story was this? Oh, a little one, like I said. Nothing more, nothing less, nothing in between. End quote. I might have suggested I had a lead on this particular story, but I didn't threaten or cajole or nothing. Cajole, I'm not actually sure how to pronounce that, in all honesty. So a suggestion was enough to get an interview. Mr. Misham must have really wanted to keep it under wraps. Someone need a hint. This time the lying tells more subtle than Lemire's. Oh, Christ. Huh. I don't think it has anything to do with the toothbrush, because the toothbrush doesn't even move. But that... Is it like the way he, like,
moves the toothbrush in his hand? Doesn't really look like anything changes. Maybe his hair? Let's see, if it's subtle... Maybe he swallows or something? Looks to the left? I'm not entirely sure. What about his eyebrows? Nothing eyebrow-wise. Let's see, maybe he squints his eyes a little bit? Sure. Mr. Brushel, you're hiding something! Yark! Don't yell all of a sudden like that, you'll give a guy a heart attack! Nick, sorry, it's just... The way you were moving just now... is particularly suspicious. What's that supposed to mean? Usually I just sort of averagely suspicious. Sorry, my mistake, you're fine. No, I'm onto something here, time to focus. Okay. Does this guy look like Uncle Grandpa to anyone else? And it's weird that I even know what that is, because I never saw that show, but like... Let's see, subtle. The number of his teeth changed? Like... Wait a minute. This one, his head is back a little bit, he leans back. Then it's forward. I think it might be this one.
Gotcha!
Never mind. Okay. My idea was stupid. Alright. Got it. That's like Grandpa, although it reminds me of Greg from the Steven Universe if he was a journalist twink instead of a beer-bellied car washer. I kind of get that. I have only seen a little bit of Steven Universe, so... I'm not entirely sure who that is, but like... Let's see, what the hell would be the difference? I can't see anything below his pocket protector, or like pocket there, I guess it's just a pocket. Why does he keep moving? Wait, let's keep an eye on his shirt with this one and the other one, because if the toothbrush is gone, maybe it makes the shirt move a different way. Something subtle. The hell would it be? Alright, I might need a hint on this one. Just an idea of, like, what to look for. Because I have absolutely no idea what I'm looking for. Maybe swallows? Look at his eyes. Okay, so it was a thing with his eyes. Alright. Maybe him blinking? Or like going all shifty-eyed, like they look off to the side a little bit?
nothing weird there, so I'll just look at the others. Alright. As in that case... maybe he blinks? Hmm? Okay, never mind. I thought I saw his eyes move a little bit. Maybe it's just my eyes playing tricks on me. Alright, never mind. Perceive! His eyes are stalwart. He does not move. This man does not flinch. In the heat of battle, he doesn't miss. In the midst of conflict, he doesn't miss. I get the right area, but I need to find the one where the tell actually happens. Okay. Okay, I think I'll pass on this one. Alright, this one now, I guess. I feel like I've measured, or taken, like, a look at the other three. Maybe it's because his eyes are all, like, upward now? First one, then. We'll see. Maybe another hint. I think I should be good. Eventually, just knowing it's the eyes will probably let me get it. More subtle. Okay, so here his pupils are crescent, so maybe another one they're just full pupils. Let's pass for a sec. Alright, his pupils are crescents. Still crescents. 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 Look at the eyes. Okay. I am missing something. People look to the left, up and to the left when they're lying. They usually do, but not this guy. This guy just stares straight forward. Eyes front. This guy is a focused man of commitment and will. I mean, he's looking up to the left now. Locked in when he's lying. Eventually, I'm bound to get it right. I'm just gonna keep guessing until I get it. One of these is bound to be right. Actually, wait. This one in particular, I don't think he's lying about. Did I win? Honestly, probably. All right, let's try him on without compare. Okay, in other words, not it either. God damn. Alright. One of these has to be it. It literally has to be it. Unless I've just completely messed up and don't have the actual prompt there. Okay. Let's try this again. That red envelope probably has something to do with it. Actually, has hyper-specific timing if you don't want a hint. Hyper-specific. In that case... I'm gonna try catching him specifically when he says talent. Never mind, I fucked up. Fucked up. Okay. This is like the thing from the diving board from Expedition 33. Which apparently, by the way, that did not get me the thing I was after. I just want to point that one out. That was in fact something completely different and I wasted a lot of time on it. Anyway. Leverage's story. Certain case from 7 years ago. Again, I don't think he's lying about this, I just want more details on it. Thumbs up on the interview. Did I even press him on this? The victim, Drew Misham, had an aversion to reporters? Boy, I guess. Not even my considerable charms did much for him. I would say, in fact, they probably did worse. Until I finally got my thumbs up, that is. Maybe you can elaborate on that a bit for us. I'm just gonna keep pressing him until I keep finding the thing. Exactly what sort of story was this? Oh, a little one, like I said. Nothing more, nothing less. Nothing in between. End quote. I might have suggested I had a lead on his particular story, but I didn't threaten or call. Okay, we already read that one, yeah. So he leveraged it, which was technically blackmail. Okay. That red envelope probably had something to do with it. I don't think it's this one. Maybe this one? Red envelope probably had something to do with it. Alright, I give up. I need another hint. I have no fucking clue what I'm doing here. I see no change in his expression at all. None. Just completely straightforward. Maybe, actually, wait. Maybe this one. I'm not gonna look at the comments. I will check one last time. Yeah, I see no difference. I see nothing. I hate to return to, like, a guide, but, man, I got nothing. I got nothing. Huh. The line where he shows up, he says beyond... Okay, so it was that line. God damn it, I shouldn't have discounted that so quickly. Alright. Without compare... I did question him on that, though. Fucking bullshit. Okay, hyper-specific timing, then. Will, yes. Talent was... Gotcha! Hiding something. The line is when the tell shows up when he says beyond compare. Huh, okay, wait. Let's try that again. Maybe it only shows up at, like, the very end of it? Here we go. Okay, so I have to wait till, like, the last possible second. This piece of puzzle. Mr. Brushel, you're hiding. Oh, no. Again, this is just the same guy. Beyond compare, but that is what he said. That is what he said. No, what is happening? End quote. Get a thumbs up in the interview. Yeah. I already pressed him on that one.
Line where the tail shows... Oh, that's the line where the tail shows up. Not that particular... Okay, I got it. Yeah. Look at his eyes. Incredibly subtle. I see nothing. I cannot see where the thing is. I don't want to set the game to autoplay, but man, I got no idea. You have the final hint, because the fourth hint was just me outright telling you it. Yeah, I need to have the final hint. I got no... I'm... At this point, we're just gonna be stuck here for a while. I have no clue what I'm supposed to be seeing here. I see no difference. I don't see anything. There is no tell. Then final hint, eye twitch. Is there a twitch? Yeah, I can't see shit. I just don't know. Very subtle. Alright, fine, I'll perceive him. Maybe it's an eyebrow? Eye twitch. Gotcha! I'm bound to get it right eventually. Alright. Fuck it. I think I'm just gonna... I don't want to hit the autoplay button, but... I literally see no difference in this. That doesn't work. Try calling out his blush. Maybe on his nose then? Yeah, I'm almost positive his eyes don't twitch at all. Because if they do, I am not seeing a single thing. I just see no difference in any of it. Maybe I'm blind. Maybe that's just it. There's an impenetrable wall. I guess. Maybe I'm not even supposed to perceive anything yet. Maybe I have to do something else and then it unlocks that. What about the original painting? Why can't I examine this? Am I supposed to present this? I mean, I can perceive, though. It seems like the game wants me to perceive him, but, like... I got nothing.
You have everything. But it's either an eye twitch or something related to his blush or facial color change. Well, there's not really any color, so... Gotta be something else. I know they said that he blushes when he thinks there's a story, but like... He's not really blushing any more than usual. I'll press him on this again, I guess. Okay, 7 years ago, tell us what case. What? You quote me on this. I can't talk about... Oh, you already said that, yeah. Wait, did I already read this? I mean, don't tell tales. Sounds pretty determined to not talk. The chances of breaking his will aren't looking good. Yeah. Something is wrong here. Like, this is obviously him being nervous, clearly, because he's brushing his eyes, his tongue, his everything. After you know what. That sounds ridiculous. I wonder what this story's talking about is. Oh my god. Maybe it's on story. We already know he's a, We already know the guy forges stuff, so it's not like that's new information. 7 years ago, had something to do with it. So 12, Drew's talent was without compare. Need to show him the red envelope? I might, but he's already seen the red envelope, I think. How the hell am I this lost? We've been here for like 40 minutes. My faith now rests in his hand or the toothbrush or something. Wonder if his elbow will give me the key. This is like that meme of Dokes from Dexter in the car being like, I know something's wrong here, but I can't prove it. We need the rest of the town, that's for damn sure, but his tail is so damn small that effectively we need to pre-fire the button. Okay, that's what I was thinking. What the fuck? There's no way this wasn't meant for one of those things where you have to buy a game guide to find out what happens. If this is actually the solution, I see no change in him at all. Alright, fuck it. I'm just gonna present something. Maybe that'll work. Maybe I'm not even supposed to do the bangle yet. His talent was without compare except for... I guess the thing that was already painted. But this doesn't feel like it works here. This is just proof that he stole it. Or someone stole it and gave it to him. Talent was without compare. Red envelope probably had something to do with it. Alright, I'm gonna... Let's see. I normally never look up a guide, but... Let's see. Let's see what we got here. What the hell am I looking at here? Oh! Okay. Alright. Did I even have the right phrase here? Oh, wait, no I don't. Okay. It wasn't his eyes at all! It was his fucking armpits! Gotcha. No wonder I didn't see shit! Alright, that's on me for not looking around enough, I guess. Sweat much, Mr. Brushel? Yeah, well, a man can't help his glands, you know? It's more than that. When Mr. Misham's talent was mentioned, you suddenly began to sweat buckets. Ack! Fucking yikes. I was looking at the eyes. No, I don't blame you. I get, maybe that's like a different one, but like, this time in particular was the armpits, so. Either way, we made it through. We're done. Look, we don't have to look at his eyes anymore. We're done. I don't blame anyone. No one's getting blamed here, except me. Let's just move on. I don't want to look at his armpits either. You're hiding something about his talent. What? That's ridiculous. Evidence time. Let's show where Mr. Misham's true talent lay. It just so happens I have evidence showing the talent mentioned in that letter. I can't help but wonder what the court is supposed to conclude from this evidence. Oh, other than that, you've made a horrible mistake. What? That is him. What? Out of the fucking fire. Yeah, absolutely cooking with fire now, boys. We are cooking. Burns Bridge gets crossed first. That is his talent. He was forging it. Talent mentioned in the letter. What did the letter say again? Just to clarify. Okay, so I had to present the actual painting instead of the one he was forging. I see. This painting was found in Mr. Misham's studio. There are two problems with this painting. The first is that it wasn't painted by Mr. Misham. The second is that there was another painting in the studio, which looked exactly like this one, except it was only half done. I feel like presenting the fake should have worked for this, but yeah. Then we have a letter discussing a payment of $100,000, which suggests a certain business operation. The business of making forgeries. Iorg! That is all, Your Honor. Hey, everyone, please! Everyone! Can we keep this private? Please? Because that was the story he wanted to keep under wraps. He was going to try to, like, spin it around as a scoop, but then he couldn't because we revealed it. Okay, I got it, yeah. This is my story! My scoop! Forgery. That's a serious crime! Drew Misham is known as an artist these days, but there were rumors he dabbled in another kind of art until a few years back. Another art, meaning forgery? Drew Misham was talented, alright. Talented at making precise, detailed fakes. A fact that certain criminal elements were quick to discover.
My voice for this guy keeps changing by the minute, but I just want to be done with this section. Criminal elements? What? You can't seriously be talking about... Exactly. I'm talking about forging evidence. Ah, okay. The rumor started circulating 7 years ago. 7 years ago? So are we to understand that this letter... This payment of $100,000 was for... Exactly. Forged evidence that's tidy profit. End quote. I think I said evidence instead of evidence. Whatever. I don't think you understand. The sheer amount of statements I've seen of people dropping the game here are insane. That was rough. I gotta say, that was difficult. Granted, it's obvious once I know what it is, but like... I think just because the perception field is so small that it's kind of hard, like... And you have to, like, look at all of it for the entire quote. I feel like this mechanic could have done with a little more time in the oven. Just a tad. Why, it looks like our victim was living a double life. Aha! This is my chance. Aha! Is this our chance? So the victim had ties to the criminal world, right? He could have had plenty of enemies we know nothing about. This is my first time hearing of this criminal world. We certainly found no criminal connections when we concluded our investigation. But how do you explain all this money? You have to admit there's a possibility of some illegal activity here. Also, the painting in his office was stolen. It was stolen and we found it there. How else are we supposed to explain that? But there is no proof tying this letter to our case. The biggest perception mechanic is the perception mechanic is the biggest pain in the ass. I agree, especially when it's not obvious outwardly what it is. Our case was and remains simple from the beginning. Only the defendant could have poisoned that mug that night. And you, of course. Hey, the only thing I poison is my pen when I'm writing my reviews. Mr. Brushel, your testimony to this point has been quite unreliable. He doesn't speak well of your reporting acumen. What are you talking about? My journalism is rock solid. Journalism is so solid you can stand an elephant on it. End quote. In any case, let's hear a summarized recap of your testimony. We can ascertain the situation in that studio from the recap. The trial is over. Apollo, what's he talking about? Cross-examination showed that Mr. Brushel didn't have a reason or means to poison him. As long as there's no other suspects. And the killer had to be Vera. That's what. This next testimony is our last chance. Mr. Brushel, your testimony, please. I wouldn't say it being obvious is the complaint. That everything being grayscale for the only tell being outside of the ring effectively to get blocked out is insane to me. That's part of it. I think the big thing is that this perspective on it is so small that it's just really hard to actually see what they're talking about. The interview, a recap. Guys, we got the recap episode. The only other person in the studio that night was the defendant. It was Vera who poured the coffee. She admitted as much herself. The only thing that touched Drew's lips during the interview was that mug. And nothing left that studio after he died. Nothing. Clearly, the only one who could have poisoned him was his daughter. A nice testimony. Clear, succinct, and without room for doubt. Aw, shucks. You really think so? I believe this clarifies the situation that night. Very well, Mr. Justice, you may begin your final cross-examination. You should be able to zoom out, otherwise it's not very... Yeah, it's not... I don't know, I feel like especially because the tell is only at one part of the sentence, you effectively have to just point it apart and then wait, and then just keep cycling through every time it's not what you want it to be. And, like, I don't know. I feel like it could have been a little more obvious outwardly, you know? Or at least just give the ability to zoom out a little, you know? I still have one trump card left to play. And I won't let this trial end until I use it. Mind telling me what that trump card is? That night was the defendant. Hero poured the coffee. And touched the Drew's lips during the interview was that mug. Okay. Feels like that would be weird. Nothing left the studio after he died. Nothing. How do you know nothing left? Not one thing? You're sure? What about the letter? Yep, sure as can be. Well, with one exception. What exception? What? Journalist Mark Brushell does interview, leaves studio. Oh, also him, yeah. Yeah. Come on. It's a joke. Get it? Not funny, I know, but still. Doesn't leave the studio that night? It does. It was a letter. He put a letter in the box. It left. The letter left. The letter is in the box. Now that we've proven our witness is a comedian of sorts, I'd like to turn to our defense attorney before returning to the testimony. You have any idea what, if anything, might have left the studio that night? Just one thing. I think one thing might very well have left the studio that night, actually. A certain something that has vanished from the crime scene. By which you mean... something other than our witness? Of course. Don't tell me. Vera Mishim? Believe me, any comic relief I may provide is entirely unintentional. Unlike me, where it is usually intentional and just not funny. The unintentional stuff I do is usually actually pretty funny. Then let's see what you've got for us, Mr. Justice. Well, this thing wasn't at the scene of the crime, so I can't show it to you. But I do have evidence that shows how it could have been taken from the scene. Mailbox. It is a mailbox. Mailbox. Alright. This is the only link between that studio and the outside world. A letterbox? What did Mr. Brushell just tell us? When he entered the studio on the night of the murder, the victim had just finished writing a letter. Yeah, I said that and it was true. Furthermore, you went on to tell us that he put the letter in a yellow envelope and put it in the letterbox. Ah! But that very same letterbox was empty. In other words, that night the yellow envelope disappeared. Ah, yes, intriguing. So an envelope has disappeared from the scene of the crime. Of course, this changes nothing. Huh? He has a point, Mr. Justice. What we're trying to figure out here is how the poison got into Mr. Misham. Is it really important that this envelope the witness says he saw disappeared? Well, if it did disappear, then something did leave the studio that night. That seems very important to me. Very well then, the witness will add this to his testimony. You got it. I still think this fails to change anything, Airforehead. I wouldn't be so sure. A letter disappeared from the crime scene that night. This is exactly the opening I've been looking for. Listen to me, but I hardly think that matters. What about it? Was this the letter? Probably not. Not open until the time is right. Maybe this, but I feel like this is... Let's press him on this. Nothing could be more serious than an envelope disappearing from that studio. And you were hiding that fact from us. Yes, well, actually, he did tell us, actually. For what it's worth. I don't argue that the possibility of a letter disappearing from that studio. But therefore, hey, isn't there a much more serious question before us? Right, how Mr. Misham was poisoned, I know. But Mr. Brushell's testimony has changed, which means the facts of the case have too. And what he's told us means something entirely different now. Starting to think? Let's keep thinking, Apollo. I usually don't, but this should work. Fuck! Would I be open to ranking external damage sprites and pursuit themes? I probably would, but like... I would need to... I want to wait until I'm done with it, because some of them would probably reveal to me who some of the killers are. So I wouldn't want to wait till I was, like, done with all of them. Or at least just, if I do it for, like, the first trilogy, that'd be fine, but, like... Let's Drew's lips during the meeting. Let's see. Can I undo the latches? Well, think about it. If he sealed the letter, then what if it was on the whatchamacallit? A letter was put in the post from the studio, but I hardly think that matters. I disagree. Because if it was on that part of the letter, that could have killed him. That's why it's on the coffee mug, but not the actual coffee. Fuck, not this either. You know, I'm just gonna save just in case. I know I'm right at the end, but like, functionally... sure. No, fuck! Fuck! I didn't mean load! God damn it! Fuck! Alright, well... We'll be back to this point next time. Ladies and gentlemen, I have irrevocably fucked up, and I will see you all later. Have a lovely morning, day, or evening. Remember to like, comment, subscribe if you enjoyed, and I'll see you all next time. God damn it, I am stupid.